Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Flashback number 20 and the last movie flashback of the year 2024. Oh my God. Woo! I'm so excited. But okay, calm down, calm down, calm down. I'm so psyched. Okay, in this flashback, we are going back in time to the greatest year in movie history. If you are new to this channel, click the subscribe button below for future notifications and updates. Click the like button to share this content with other movie fans. Okay, so movie flashback number 19 covered 1999, the second greatest year in movie history. And when I was doing research for flashback 19, I did research for flashback number 20 simultaneously. And I was trying to figure out why this year in particular was the greatest year in movie history. What events created the right environment to make movies that would go on to being the greatest movies of all time? This year has other nicknames. It's known as Hollywood's greatest year, and the Latin name Annus Mirabilis. Annus meaning year, and Mirabilis means marvelous, wonderful, miraculous. And this year has been able to keep the title for so long, it is no longer a matter of opinion, but a sentiment that most movie fans, film historians, and journalists all agree on. If I asked you, what is the greatest year of movie in movie history, what is your answer? Drum roll, please. Okay. If you guessed 1939, you guessed right. 1939 is the greatest year in movie history. And any movie that came out in 1939 is celebrating its 85th anniversary this year. Take a look. Okay, so Thomas Highshack, who wrote the book 1939, Hollywood's Greatest Year. I can't believe people wrote books about 1939. But anyway, he wrote, and I quote, "It represents old Hollywood at its best. The studio system, the way they made movies, whatever you liked about movies, it was there. 1939 did it all and did it well." End quote. If 1939 represented old Hollywood at its best, 1999 represented modern Hollywood at its best, in my opinion. Another writer, Mark Vieira, who wrote Majestic Hollywood, the films of 1939, said the push to create a landmark year was intentional. He wrote, and I quote, "Studios were just beginning to recover from the Depression, while also facing threats to their income with the looming antitrust lawsuit that was filed with the Justice Department in 1938. End quote. In addition, 1939 marked the 50th anniversary of the motion picture camera. It was invented sometime in 1889, 1890. 1939 was also the 25th anniversary of the movie industry moving from New York and New Jersey to California to run away from Thomas Edison's tight grip on the industry due to his patents. Film production companies started moving to Hollywood as early as 1905, but by 1915, Hollywood, a neighborhood in Los Angeles, became a filmmaking mecca. However, when I read the behind the stories of some of the films released in 1939, I read stories of people who sacrificed a lot for the sake of filmmaking. A couple of these films went through a lot of screenwriters, a lot of different scripts. While shooting The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland's long-time drug addiction got its possible start. The studio approved and gave her different medications so she can get through the shoot. Director Victor Fleming signed on to direct The Wizard of Oz, only for MGM to switch gears and send him to direct Gone with the Wind because that shoot was having problems and issues. And then there is Louis B. Mayer. He was co-founder and the head of MGM Studios during the golden age of old Hollywood. And he was a complex leader, a self-invented man. Sometimes he was a father figure to teen actors of the day, like Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney, but he was also a leader who did questionable things for the sake of making box office profits. I read an online article about the films of 1939, and I want to pull out this passage which I agree with. Quote, "In a world where we have infinite content at our fingertips, thanks to streaming platforms, our phones, and social media, it is difficult to express the all-consuming power of the movies of 1939. Our culture is increasingly splintered and fractured. Even juggernauts like Star Wars and Marvel proved divisive. But in 1939, Hollywood was selling a version of American mass culture to the widest possible group." End quote. And to put that in perspective in another way, there are two opposing forces going on right now. The price of movie tickets are going up in a sneaky way, so that is why Moana 2 made $300 million at the box office back in November over the Thanksgiving Day weekend, and Wicked made over $100 million. Wicked came in at number 2. However, after the Thanksgiving weekend was over on Cyber Monday, the LA Times published an online article with the headline, "The Casual Moviegoer is a Thing of the Past. That's a big problem for Hollywood." End quote. So, movie making attendance overall is going down, even though they are still making a killing at the box office with prequels, sequels, and remakes. However, back in 1939, 365 movies were released that year, and moviegoers were buying tickets at a rate of 80 million per week. I plan to write a documentary about the current state of the film industry in another video, but for this post, I wanted to make the comparison so you have an idea of why 1939 was so historic back then. In the past, I mentioned the National Film Registry and other movie flashbacks. I think I might have to do a post about that as well. But in case you don't know what it is, the National Film Registry is a collection of movies founded by the Library of Congress, and its mission is to preserve movies that are important historically, culturally, and aesthetically. 1939 holds the special record as the year with the most films on the National Film Registry, more than any other year. The oldest film in the registry was made back in 1891. The youngest film in the registry is 12 Years a Slave, made back in 2013, directed by one of my favorite filmmakers, Steve McQueen. One of the producers is Brad Pitt, one of my favorite actors, and it stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played the protagonist, Solomon Northup. After doing my research, I came up with a list of 30 films, including short films that were deemed the best of 1939. Some of these films were recognized by both the Academy the following year and the Library of Congress when it first opened in 1989. A few were on the list of the top 10 grossing films at the box office. When you factor in those three lists, the best of 1939 are Gone with the Wind, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and The Wizard of Oz. So, that is all for today, my friends. I'm going to keep this flashback as tight as possible because there is a lot to say about 1939. You can do a movie flashback about Gone with the Wind by itself. You can do another flashback about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. You can also do a movie flashback about The Wizard of Oz. I want to propose a toast to 1939. And I learned a lot. I hope you did too. But yeah, looking forward to 2025. We'll see what happens. We just lost Jimmy Carter over the weekend. So, not only is January shaping up to be a month that I am not looking forward to between Jimmy Carter's funeral and Trump's inauguration, but hopefully things turn around in February when we kick in the Chinese New Year. And if you don't know, 2025 is going to be the year of the snake. Snakes are not my favorite animals, but okay, I'll take it. So that is all for today, my friends. Have a wonderful new year, and I will see you next time with more movie flashbacks. I got another 10 movie flashbacks for 2025 that I'm going to start working on in May of next year. So look out for those movie flashbacks. And also, as always, look out for more movie reviews. Take care, and I'll see you next year.